and welcome back to my channel. A very big thank you to everybody who has subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please do so that you'll get a notification each time I upload a new video. Today we're going to look at some of the changes that took place in my life towards the end of high school. My dad was a civil servant, and when I was just about to sit for my final examination, he got a transfer from Nairobi to a place called Kisii. I think when you are a civil servant, you expect to be moved around the country. When I received the news about the possible transfer from Nairobi to Kisii, you can imagine how I felt. I had been born and brought up in Nairobi, but now a time had come for us to say bye to Nairobi and go and start afresh in Kisii. So it was a bit difficult for me. I had anxiety and I was just wondering how was I going to cope in Kisii. Once the news about the transfer had sunk in, my parents began making arrangements about the big move. And in particular, they were concerned about me because I was just about to sit for my exam. So they got in touch with relatives within Nairobi, and luckily we had a family that lived close to Pangani Girls School, and that family kindly accepted and allowed me to stay with them for 3 months so that I could finalize and sit for my examination. They took me in. They looked after me. I felt very comfortable. I felt at home, and it was a family I was familiar with. Finally, the big day arrived, the day we were supposed to move from Nairobi to Kisii. 2 big lorries came and we packed our belongings. It was a very sad day for me and my 3 little brothers. We were all anxious and we just wondered how Kisii would be. It was a long journey from Nairobi to Kisii, but eventually we did get there and just try to manage the situation. And after some time, we began to settle down because there was nothing we could do about it. We just accepted what had happened and tried to make Kisii home. One of the things that struck me about Kisii, it was the scenery. It was lush, and the area is very fertile, and there was a lot of food, and Kisii turned out to be a nice little town. We quickly settled in and continued with our lives. So after about a week, I had to come back to Nairobi in order for me to prepare for my final exam. I was surprised when the results came out because I did not expect to pass. I thought the disruption, the movement and everything would have affected my performance, but I was lucky. I did well and I passed. My parents were very happy when I passed, and they wanted me to be close to them. So what they did, they found me a boarding school somewhere in Kisii. However, the boarding school turned out to be a nightmare for me. I had never been in a boarding school before, but here I was, a teenager. I was used to day school, and then all of a sudden I found myself in a boarding school, and I did not like it at all. I spent most of my time crying. I was homesick. I missed my mom. Not to mention the diet. You know how boarding schools are, don't even go there. So I did not enjoy that school at all. So when we opened, all I did was sit there and start counting how many days to half term. That's how sad it was. And when half term came, I would be very happy, go home. And I think we had about a week for half term. So that wasn't long enough, and my happiness would soon turn into sadness as quickly as it started, and then it would be time to go back to the school. So I was very miserable, and those 2 years were not the best years in my life at all. When I sat for my exam after 2 years, I did not perform well. I don't know what your thoughts are about boarding schools, but after my experience in boarding school, I vowed never to take my child to a boarding school. But as fate would have it, circumstances later on in life, through my channel, you will see me take my child to a boarding school. So when the results came out, I had not performed well, and my dad asked me to retake the exam to see if I will qualify to go to university. I declined and said no because I did not want to imagine myself in a boarding school again. So I said to my father, I'm happy to go to college. So after my A-level, I spent a couple of years at home, and it was during those years that my mom was blessed with 3 more children. She got a boy and 2 daughters. When my 2 sisters came along, obviously I lost that prime spot of the only daughter. It was during those couple of years that I stayed at home that I formed very strong bonds with my siblings as well. I would just like to say how important it is when you're living together as brothers and sisters to love one another, to appreciate one another, tell one another how much you love them, because as time goes by and you're all growing up, you will soon part ways. People will go find employment, others will go to university, and things will never be the same again. So enjoy every moment you have with your mom and dad, your brothers and sisters. Enjoy them, cherish those moments. Those are the only things that after everything has been said and done, after everything has happened, those are the things that will remain with you forever. So be good to one another, love one another, make memories with one another, because a time is coming when you're gonna part ways. So after spending a couple of years at home, it was now time for me to join college. So Lucy is off to Nairobi to join college. Join me in my next video to see how she will cope with college life and what becomes of her. Take good care of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.